Motherhood is the biggest sisterhood of them all. Before we became mothers, we were individuals with hopes, dreams, and aspirations. But sometimes, as mothers, we lose sight of ourselves through the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Hi, I'm your host, Dawn Imani. Just a friendly mother that wants to chat about raising kids, chasing dreams, and highlighting the many inspirational stories of the mothers that do it. Just like that. So pull up, grab yourself a motherly beverage, and get ready to ride this roller coaster we call life. Condensed into a show. Welcome to MYLF Podcast, and it's time to meet today's mother you'd like to friend.
Stop giving failure a dress rehearsal in your mind. I know that sounds crazy, but we do it all the time. We have this brilliant idea, and because we haven't seen somebody else be successful at it, or we're the first person in our family to ever attempt to do anything like it, we automatically see failure on the other side of beginning. And so guess what? We never start. But what if you started? It doesn't mean that everything is going to be easy, but when you come on the other side of it, it's going to be so worth it. So exercise your faith and get started.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hey, honey.
Yes. Oh, I feel so underdressed.
Oh, no.
How are you? You look so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You are serving MILF all day.
Girl.
Yes.
I had to make sure I represented your brand right.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, my gosh. I appreciate you. Welcome back to MYLF Podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I'm so excited to introduce today's guest, media and marketing mogul, former beauty queen, mother of four, and the creator of She's Ready All Natural Supplement, Tamika Hall. How are you today, Tamika?
You know what? I'm really hyped to be here, and I never thought that I would be so excited to be called a MILF ever in my life.
Yes.
And I am super hype about this. Like this is the dopest ever. So I'm really excited to be here.
And you know what? I've only known you for, a short time over social media, but after meeting you, I'm so impressed by you. I'm so impressed by everything that you do. I've been watching all of your videos. You do so much. Could you tell my audience about yourself?
So this is the crazy thing is it's difficult for me to talk about myself, but I'm learning how to I'm learning how to be more comfortable with it. So people coin me as a mogul, and I'm finally kind of getting used to saying, okay, I am a media mogul. But I really work in the digital media space. So I'm the CEO of multiple companies. I'm the CEO of iWorship 96 FM radio. We are an international radio station heard in over 60 countries. We are on 24/7, have, shows that go on around the clock. So it's a really beautiful thing. I'm also the CEO and the chief designer of Tamika Ink, where I work with authors from around the globe to help them put their books into print. And then also the CEO of She Wins Media. So under She Wins Media, we publish anthologies. We have a documentary that's getting ready to come out. Yes. And we also have the She Wins magazine. And then finally, I'm excited about all of them. But, one of my newest babies is my She's Ready line. So we are a women's empowerment company, and we produce supplements and different products that help women to feel beautiful from the inside out.
And certainly you exemplify
that
standard from the inside and out. I just want to mention how inspiring your videos are. I mean, your Instagram alone, I was just thinking this last night. I'm like, it's like you watch a channel like ABC or something like that. Like I'm watching the Tamika Hall channel. Aww. And you got cooking, you got inspirational messages. You have Bedside Baptist. I was like, man, great. I don't have to watch anything else. Aww. Could you tell me how you got into media?
Yeah, well, it's something I've always really liked doing. And when I realized I really loved radio and things like that, I didn't have the finances to go to broadcasting school. So, at the time I was married, I'd gone to college, got my degree in theater and all that great stuff. But then, I was married, we had 4 kids, it was a blended family. And I was like, man, I really have always enjoyed either being on stage, being behind a microphone. And we just didn't have the finances to do it. So after publishing a book of mine, I started producing a radio show on Blog Talk Radio, right? And so crazy part is a station over in Canada, K107 FM Jams, and we're still the greatest of friends now. He's my mentor in radio, heard one, and at the time I felt like it was just a little show, but he heard my show from Blog Talk Radio, hired me to have my own daily show. So I went from producing a weekly show on Blog Talk Radio to doing a 3-hour daily show Monday through Friday. So it was pretty amazing to go from producing my own show to having one of the prime spots on a radio station, on an international station. And then, from there is kind of how I decided that I really wanted to, launch iWorship 96 radio. And so just kind of being in the media, initially, a lot of it was because I just wanted access to people. I knew I didn't have the money to hire people to be my coach or to be, my mentor at the time. And so when I was doing my radio show on Blog Talk Radio, I created shows. I had multiple shows. I created shows that would give me access to the people that I wanted information from. And by me tapping into their audience, it just helped me to, number one, build my audience. It helped me build my credibility. And that's really just how it began. I mean, and then I started wanting to just understand, okay, what does my audience want from me? I realized they enjoyed the quotes and different things that I put out. And so that went from just quotes to, okay, well, let me start talking to you guys a little bit. I talk way too much anyway. So let's talk and make it do what it do. And people just, I mean, it's amazing. I'm always honored that, God will give me something that inspires somebody else. And, it's a beautiful thing when God can really take your ashes and make them very beautiful. And so that's just been my goal, is to inspire women around the world to really embrace, the best parts of themselves.
That is so beautiful. That's an amazing sentiment right there. And I feel you on that. I feel like MYLF Podcast was born in that way, in a sense, because, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I am, now we're in the middle of all of this craziness. And so it's hard for me to reach out to other mothers. A lot of my friends, I mean, I have some friends that are mothers, but most of my friends aren't mothers. So it's hard for me to get women that are dealing with the same things that I am. Because and most other mothers, they're busy doing other things and dealing with their kids. It's hard to get together. And I just had a baby a year ago. So,
wow.
It's like, it's just hard. It's hard.
I mean, kudos to you for even being able to do this. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When my kids were little, I really wish that there would have been a podcast like this, because I quit. Initially I was doing my publishing company back then, and then things just got so hard, and there really weren't podcasts back in, 2007 and 2008 that were for mompreneurs, to tell them, this is how you can balance being a mother and running a business and being a wife and all of those things. And I ended up quitting. I mean, I just got fed up one day because I kept making mistakes, because I was exhausted, and I just quit for years. And I felt like, for a long time, I felt like I was a failure, and I was afraid to do anything because I was afraid that it was going to fail. And so I wish that there would have been something like this there. And so kudos to you for, even if the babies are in the background, even if somebody runs up there and they want a cookie, they need their diaper changed, we as women need to see that is what happens. My kids are teenagers now, my stepsons, they're older, and, one is in the military, the other one is out of school and different things like that. But it's we need to see women that can just do the daggone thing. We need to see it. So, kudos to you for showing real life. I love it.
Thank you so much. And it's true. It's hard. It's hard. Physically, because you have the children there, they're around, and they need us as mothers. That is our job, is to focus on our children as parents completely. But mentally, I'm with you on that. I felt too, I'm a creative, I'm an actress. And so I had to take years, because I had 2 children back to back, really. And I had to take years off of acting.
Wow.
And I lost myself. I lost my, I lost the belief in myself. And I feel that, like you said, feeling like a failure, feeling like, man, I could never get back up again, and then there's that
Yes.
thought in your head like, oh, you're done now. You have to, you're like you gain weight, or
Yeah.
or you're so used to wearing, frumpy clothes and things. And that is why it is so important, I think, to have a sisterhood or someone
Mm-hmm.
that you can reach out to, and even things like this, like a podcast or a book or a radio show or someone that
Mm-hmm.
you can look at to see, what, I'm not alone in this. There are other women out there that have children that are, struggling in the same way that I am. And that's why I love the concept of having different mothers from different backgrounds. And I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I really do align with you on that, just that
That's
feeling like
dope.
a failure. And but you got to keep going. So you felt down about yourself for a little bit, but you were able to pick yourself back up. So how did, and that came in the form of you going into the media, and
Yes.
by chance having someone notice you and take a chance on you, and then your creativity exploded.
Yeah, and Don, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of the ministry from, I would say, if people were to go back 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago, if you were to be scrolling through my Instagram, a lot of those inspirational messages that I was posting, they were ministering to me at the exact same time. I was very depressed for a lot of years. And like you said, lost yourself. I'd completely lost myself. I was married for um almost 13 years, so it's been 2 years, just about 2 years that, I've been divorced, and really was focused on healing, because it's like, we live life, but like when you're a mom, you really have to put yourself on the back burner. Nope, there's nobody teaching you how to practice self-care all the time. At least it wasn't when my children were younger. Nobody was saying that. People will make you feel bad because you have dreams and you have vision and you have aspirations to do something other than be a mother. And I think that being a mother is a beautiful thing. It's great. I mean, I'm a better person because I'm a mother, but it's hard. And sometimes it's a thankless job. And it's okay though to want to have something even bigger than that, because our kids actually will look at us and they model us in so many different ways. And so when I wasn't feeling great about myself, I actually was, making these videos, and I was speaking to myself, and I was like throwing positivity out into the air because it was what I needed at the time. So yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It's like, yeah, we need things like the MYLF podcast.
I love that. I love that. And I find myself doing that. If I'm like really having a hard or stressful day, I'll just start talking out loud, trying to speak some positivity. I
Yes.
remember the other day I was in the car and I'm like, man, today was hard. My husband came home and the kids were giving me a rough time. So after he got in the door, I was like, I'm going. I'm
Good
in
for
the
you.
car. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, man, I'm in the car. Like, I'm thankful. I'm just saying out loud everything that I'm thankful for. Because, when you do get into like a darker mindset or a heavier mindset or more negative space, I guess, you forget all the good things. You're dwelling on the bad, and you really need to remind yourself. And I think that is what you're saying about, you're ministering to yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
that need is out there for everyone, but you have to pour into yourself before you can pour into others.
Good
I,
stuff.
I love,
Absolutely.
but
Good stuff.
I love everything that you are about. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of your other projects? I know you have your She's Ready line. How did you get into the natural supplement industry?
It was born out of desperation, Don, honestly. I'll start with this because this is for moms. I love the fact that I can just be real and just open. So, we are taught as women, as little girls, we're taught you got to be pretty, you're taught to be polite. You just kind of know that you're supposed to smell good all the time. You know what I mean? But you really don't have anybody that talks about, okay, well, what if I do everything right? If I'm washing, if I'm wearing clean clothes, but then when I sweat, there's an odor that comes from it and I don't really know how to fix it. And so that was really, once I really hit puberty, that was the issue that I dealt with. really my entire life. And it really consumed me and it took over my life. And I mean, I really ended up becoming obsessive about body odor because in order to combat it, I mean, I ended up understanding by the time I hit, my 30s, I was like, okay, there's an odor when I sweat. So I always carried extra clothes with me. I basically carried my bathroom sink in my purse. I always had the body wash. I had extra underwear. Like, I had everything that I could ever need in order to make sure that I stayed, smelling well. And then it got to the place, it went from that to me showering 4 and 5 times a day, in addition to washing up in between. And then I went through, back in 2017, I went through this period of about 8 months where I had a bacterial infection for 8 straight months. It was like, and they were treating me with, antibiotics, but it would go and then it would come back. It would go away, it would come back. I was like, I found myself kind of bleeding. We thought it was my kidney shutting down. And just kind of because I'm dramatic, I happened to say to my doctor, I was like, I don't understand why this keeps happening. I was like, I'm a clean woman. I shower 4 and 5 times a day. And because she kind of has learned me at this point, she was like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. And I was just like, yeah. She was like, you're not serious. I'm absolutely serious. I'm clean. Why do I keep on having this situation? And she was like, girl, that's the problem. She's like, you're washing away all of the things that your body needs to fight off infection. And so I'm like, well, so you're telling me I can't shower 4 and 5 times a day? And I'm like, but this is a problem. I had gone to doctors before to ask them, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Nobody could give me any answers. So I went on this research rampage and I was just trying to figure out, okay, well, what are natural ways to make sure that I stay clean? And what are natural ways to make sure that I don't have an odor? And so after kind of putting in the research, kind of, putting together what I thought would be a formula for that, I started contacting manufacturers, and I was cold calling people on the phone, like, hey, I want to kind of produce a pill that, takes away body odor. Do y'all do that? I think this is what needs to go inside of it. And, for months, I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of, okay, yeah, we can do that, but the minimum is $6,000 or the minimum is 10,000 units, which is like $10,000, And finally, I found a woman-owned company. And they ended up producing, they started producing for me for $56. And when they started doing that, I had already, my life had shifted. I was separated at the time. Really didn't have any funds, but $56, scraped it together. I saved it up over a couple of paychecks, saved it up, and started testing the product. And it's amazing how after about a good 18 months or so, this year, it's like God was like, okay, release it. I'm like, yo, right now, in the middle of a shutdown, And so we released it, and it has been traveling all over the world. It's been going places I haven't been yet. I mean, we shipped to Denmark, South Africa, Japan, Jamaica, all around the United States, because it's amazing. There are other women that are dealing with this issue. So yeah, it was born out of a need, out of total desperation.
And I love that. I love that you have it. And I think this is amazing, that you have an issue within yourself.
Yes.
And you find that solution, but then you share it with others, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that story. It really inspires me.
I mean, it was a scary thing, to be honest with you, because no woman wants to go up, go before people and say, listen, like, I had an odor issue. And and the thing is, with me coming forward though, and explaining to women, it's not that you're dirty. You're not dirty. And you technically don't have an odor issue, so I get to educate women. Listen, there is help. I mean, we've had women who have a severe case of hyperhidrosis, where that's the severe sweating, which of course emits a lot of odor. Because what happens is, we have this healthy bacteria, on our skin. We have this bacteria on our skin. And when we sweat, the bacteria has a party, it like breaks it all down. It breaks it down. And then the bacteria is what emits odor. And so to be able to say to women like, yo, you do not have to live with this. I'm telling you, I literally get tears all the time when women will inbox me and they're like, I actually don't stink. Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't have to wear deodorant because it's an internal deodorant. And it literally combats bad breath, armpit odor, the odor in your groin area. Those are women's problem areas. Foot odor, now we have the body stick with, for women, like when we sweat, if you're well endowed, especially you sweat between your breasts and your thighs, I wanted something all natural that we could put on to keep us, nice and dry, because we can't be going back to the old days where we were putting a whole bunch of powder down there looking like we were trying to bake bread between our breasts. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cute. So yeah, so we have that. Then also, the other thing that I came up with, just released that too. Look, I have everything here. This bath bomb is the truth, okay? This bath bomb is the truth. It's called the V-bomb. It tightens up the vagina. So you drop it into your water. Yeah, you sit in the water, and it tightens all of your skin. So your skin, you come out very, very soft, but it also tightens that vagina. And like, we have a lot of happy husbands right now, because their wives.
My husband might. You might be.
I had one lady who I said, listen, I said, when you try this, I said, just tell your husband what's happening. I was like, I need to know for a fact that like, it's not just working for, and, I said, he's going to say to you, hey, babe, you don't need that. I said, he should say that. He's your man. He loves you. And he did say that to her. And she was cracking up. She was like, I don't want to be too graphic. She said, but when it was over, he rolled over. It was like, yeah, that works. You need to get some more. So, it is, we're saving marriages here. And, but with like the body deodorant, it's body confidence in a bottle. And so I have a lot of products that are on the horizon, but it's all about empowering the woman literally from the inside out. If a woman feels confident about herself, she can conquer any boardroom. She's actually like, if you are confident in your own body, you're going to feel sexy when you're at home. I remember having small kids. Listen, you don't feel sexy at the end of the night. Like, you've been somebody's meal all day long. Like, you know what I mean? But if you're feeling sexy, you smell good, in all of your lady parts, you know what I mean? All of those things work in your favor. Everybody is happy when a confident woman is on the scene.
And that's the point right there. The confidence Absolutely. In yourself. No matter if you're busy all day and you're sweating and working hard in the house or at work all day, but you still want to be able to get that back, get your groove back at the end of the day, and not walk around feeling frumpy or, afraid that you are stinking. Because I'll tell you, like, when I would breastfeed, man, I felt like a teenager. I think, especially after, people don't talk about that. And when you talk about empowerment, the empowerment is in the education. Because if we are feeling like we're alone in something, like you said, you felt, and I don't know if you spoke with other people about it other than your doctors, but when you were going through this situation where you were trying to remedy that smell on your own, like, you were probably embarrassed about it and didn't want to talk to.
It's embarrassing. Yeah. Dawn, I mean, I'm a pageant queen with this crown. I mean, when you walk into certain rooms, I had been given access to be around celebrities because of, winning a pageant title. And I mean, little girls want to hug you. Older women want to hug you. Teenagers want to hug you. I mean, it is crippling. And I remember after taking this pill, and this pill can work, the capsule can work. For some people, it catches on within 24 hours. For others, they need just a couple of days for it to get in their system. But I remember the first time that I realized, like, like, girl, you've been going all day. And I was a dance teacher. So it's like, you've been teaching dance 6 hours a day. You have no smell anywhere. And it's like, I mean, until you're the type of woman who you walk into a store after a long day of work because you got to go and get something for the house, but you have an odor. Like, we know when it doesn't smell right, but it's like, look, I got to go home. I mean, I got to go get what I need to get. You're just embarrassed to be in your own skin. So the fact that women and men, because it's made for women, but it's strong enough for your man, to have them saying to me, I have confidence to be around people. Oh my God. Like, I'm like, Lord, out of everything that I do, this was the reason why you put me here, for every reason that we could ever feel uncomfortable or, self-conscious. Like, God, this is why you put me here, because, Lord, you realize I don't mind being the mouthpiece. And, but I had to get over that, because I'm like, I don't want to tell people that I know I might stink sometimes, but it really had taken over my life. And to have women literally all over the world, and people can go to our website where women are, talking about it and giving their experience, to have women all over the world say, my confidence is back. You know, they're rocking their cute clothes and they know they're going to smell good at the end of the night. I mean, I don't go to the club, but they do, you know, and they're like, yo, I can dance all night long. And I know that I don't stink. I mean, I had one lady say to me when she got her pills, she was like, girl, I can't wait to sit with my legs open. I mean, hey, baby, do you like, but I was excited that she was able to have that experience for the first time. So Dawn, this has been, I can't even express it. I think everybody can tell, but like, this has been, I think one of the most, besides having my kids, honestly, has been one of the most meaningful things that I've ever produced in my life. Absolutely.
And I'm curious to know what your kids think about all that you do, because you are such a great example, just to even someone that, you know, is on the outside looking in, but you have your kids there watching you and seeing your growth and how you move. How do they feel about everything
they don't think I'm that cool, you know? I mean, I tell them all the time, I'm like, yo, your mom is super cool, you know, because they'll, you know, sometimes they'll look at my Instagram and they're like, oh my God, mom, you got all these followers, or mom, did you see how many views you had? And I'm like, I tell you all the time, your mom is super cool. Like, that's the only time I can brag on myself to them. And they're like, mom, you're not cool if you got to say it, you know? But I really do think that they're proud. And, you know, one of the things that made me the most proud was, you know, I chose to make certain decisions in my life to leave from a situation that was not the best situation, because I wanted to really show my daughters. I have 2 daughters, you know, that I gave birth to. And it was important to me that they understood that you got to show up for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. And for them to see that, you know, I went from having living in a 5-bedroom house with my own office, to they saw me willfully leave from that situation because they knew it was not great. Sleep on my parents' couch, the floor, a cot, because, you know, they were in school and I wanted them to have good sleep, you know, and as mothers, we sacrifice, and everybody else is sitting here thinking I'm having this glamorous life. Baby, I was wearing clothes from high school. You know what I mean? We just learn how to dress it up, and I know how to throw on my lashes and my lipstick. But I'm talking about even in 2019, the beginning of 2019, I was sleeping on a cot at my parents' house or on the floor. And I remember praying and asking God, like, Lord, you got to do something. You have to make a shift. And I'm telling you, Dawn, God made a shift like that. You know, he shifted me. I ended up moving to Philadelphia. And from there, you know, now I'm living in Delaware. But having kids having kids will make you take chances that you never thought that you could. Children will really bring out the best in you. And so I've been so excited to, you know, for a while, I didn't think I was going to ever be able to have my own place. But, you know, not only do I have my own place, but my business is sustaining us. And so I think that my children see that. You know, the other day, oh my God, I'm probably going to cry. So my oldest daughter was just like, Mom, we have to be rich. And I'm like, no, baby, we're not, but you better speak that thing. You know what I mean? And I said, well, why do you think that? And she was like, you're always working. You work so hard, Mom. You know, this is my 16-year-old. You work so hard, Mom. And she like quoted this number. She's like, I know you got to have at least this in the bank. I said, I do. She was like, do you have more than that? I was like, yeah, you know, and it wasn't to brag, but it's totally to brag on God, because to be able to show my kids, put in the work ethic. They see me. Well, they hear me because I'm loud all the time. So they hear me at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning in my little office space. You know what I mean? And the other day I was talking about, I'm sorry to be talking a whole lot, but I just want to encourage somebody. You know, the other day I actually
encourage.
Yeah.
Okay? you putting out gems here.
Amen. The other day I came on and I was talking about, you know, Zechariah 4:10, where, you know, I'm paraphrasing, and I think this is the New Living Translation, where it says that God rejoices in the small things. And it's like, last year in December, I was about to be evicted. You know, some things had happened. You know, I had a good savings account and I had depleted my savings to move. And then some things happened, and I don't regret it, but I made decisions with the money because it was necessary. But last year, this time, like, I had $36 in the bank. And I said, God, you got to do something, you know? And it's like, for God to flip that thing around And for my baby to turn around and be like, Mom, we gotta be rich. And I'm like, no, we're not there yet, but for her to see the work ethic and for her to see us going from having to eat ramen noodles because we have to, like, I have some in there because like sometimes I don't feel like making a nice, meal, but from her, for my girls to see us moving from ramen noodles because we have to the fact that if I want to cook something with shrimp and with salmon, like, it's like, it feels good to go in the store and to buy a name brand cereal. I mean, the things that we take for granted, it feels good to go to the gas station and fill my gas tank up and not, I mean, last year, this time I was putting $3 in my tank. So when people say to you that God can do it, like he can do it, and we never know what people are going through. But it's like, I really believe that God has blessed me because I have those babies to take care of, And I believe that God has blessed me because I chose to step out on faith and walk this faith walk. And he knows I've done it because of my kids. And so that's the true meaning of being a MILF. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Like that's the true meaning, is when you can encourage each other and like tell each other about the struggles and to allow God to tell me who I am and that he rejoices in the small things. And so for those of you guys that are listening or you're watching, I don't care how small the vision is. When I was telling my parents about a pill that was going to wipe away, excuse me for that sounds gross, but for me to tell my friends and my parents, they will tell you right now, they were kind of like, okay, here's another thing that Tamika's doing. Like people really didn't, hey there, how are you? People really didn't see that. Hi, baby. They didn't really trust the process. They weren't trusting that. And so for them to see it come full circle, it started as a dream. I talked about that the other day on the live. It started as a dream. It was like a figment of my imagination, but it was something that I just couldn't let go of. And so me having that dream and me having kids, because I said, God, when I told God I was going to open it, when I finally made the decision, I said, God, I want to leave a legacy for my kids. And I had been asking God that. I said, God, I need to leave a legacy for my kids. What can I build for my children that they can step into it when they're older? They shouldn't have to work for somebody else. They can work for me, and I kept feeling like this was what it was going to be. And nobody in my life that was closest to me believed in it. They really didn't. They were just kind of like, oh, okay, Meek, okay. And even when it started working, they were just excited for me. Mom was like, baby girl, I'm so excited. Because mom was one of the ones where I was like, Mom, like I have this problem. How do I fix it? And for her and the other, matriarchs in the family, they're like, well, honey, even my older aunt, honey, I dealt with that until I was about, 35. I'm like, yo, I got to be on the earth for 35 years before we figure out what the issue is, And so anybody that's listening, like God rejoices in the small things. Never allow anything to be too small for you. I'm going to tell you, to get out of only having $36 in the bank, I was bagging people's groceries, Dawn. People still saw me encouraging them. People still heard me on the radio station. People still saw me with my lashes on and stuff. But baby, it was not too small for me to put Instacart on my phone and go bag people's groceries. And that was helping me pull in $600-700 a week, bagging people's groceries. And that was what helped me to build up my bank account, bagging people's groceries. So don't let something be too beneath you. When you got to take care of your kids and you need to finance your dream, nothing should be beneath you. If God tells you to go and clean somebody's bathroom, you better do it because there's a lot of money in it. You want to know why? Because people think it's beneath them. If you service the need, Dawn, if we service the need, that's how you blow up in business. You service a need. Why do you think that you got like the Merry Maids? That's because people who have money don't want to clean their own bathroom. It's not beneath me.
Listen, oh my gosh, you are just dropping so many. I'm getting so excited. Like, yes, tell us, girl, tell us.
Yeah, I had to sniff. I had to put it on mute. But I went and got my nails done. Like that was one of the things I was really excited about, that I could get my nails done every 4 to 5 weeks because they're my natural nail. That's one of the things I really pride myself in. Was like, okay, for years I was so depressed when I had my kids and things like that. I went through postpartum depression for years and didn't even know that that's what it was. And I just really let myself go. But, I had talked about the other day, the fact that, My nail tech, like I treat her well, and it's to the point where we got a relationship. I have her on speed dial, and I can say, yo, can you I got a photo shoot today. Can you open up for me? And she'll come at any time. But, we were talking the other day about the fact that their rent is $5,000 in 2 locations. So they spend $10,000 a month. And God had been saying to me for these past couple of months, he's been saying, let me take care of you. And I was like, Lord, I don't know how to let you do that. I've trusted men in my life and they've always disappointed me. And then God showed me while I was sitting in her chair that their cheapest service is $7. You talk about they charge $7. If you want to get tips, that's $30. Depending on what you want, it might be $50. If you get your toes done, that starts at $30, $35. Those are small things. You get me? Like, those are small, minute, like it's a small fee. But baby, it's paying $120,000 a year. Plus it's taking care of 5 families that work there who have kids and nice cars. So I said, God, if $7 can take care of them, I know you got me. So for the person, like, I just want to encourage you. Like, I don't care if you're eating ramen noodles right now. You go to Deuteronomy 30, where he says he wants to outdo himself in making you successful. Like, that's what I had to do in December and January. I said, God, I'm not going to call on a man to get me out of this. I'm not going to call on my parents to get me out of this. I said, because God, if you do it, you're going to do it well, and it's going to be done. And like, I'm telling you, to go from not being able to feed myself, because I always made sure my kids ate, to the fact that y'all see the meals that God is allowing me to cook, like, that means something, y'all. Like, don't get weary in what you're building. Don't get weary in that. God wants you to be successful. I don't care about the people around you that say that the only thing you're supposed to be is a mother, that the only thing you're supposed to do is be a wife. God has implanted something special in his daughters. He did that because he made us nurturers, and he did that on purpose because he understands we know how to see things in a different way because we do cultivate things. God put special things in us, and he put kingdom vision, and he put big vision and dreams in you because God understands that if he gives it to one of his daughters, because we're moms and because we're wives and because we're ministers and we're entrepreneurs and we work for other people, he knows that he's given us the grace to, like, if you can carry a child on the inside of you, multiple kids on the inside of you for 9 months and still work and do everything that you do, God knows he can trust us to do that because we can do huge things in a small amount of time. You know what I mean? Like, as a mother, you learn how to do more with little. You can feed a whole family with little. I was feeding a family of 6 with $100 a month. So if you can take little and make that much, God can trust us with big things. So it is a lie when people tell you that you're just a mom. You're just a wife. That's a lie. You're more than that. And if God has said to you, I've put you here to be a mother and to be a wife, guess what, baby? Do that and make your home great. Make your home beautiful. Make it a space that you are cultivating our next generation of our next president, our next vice president, our next entrepreneur. Like, there's nothing too small. You know what I'm saying? Make it a space that your husband comes home to and he's excited to be there. There's nothing too small. Just because God put entrepreneurship inside of me doesn't make me less of a mother. It doesn't make me less of a wife. If I ever go that route again, and I'm sure I will. And when God sends that man, honey, that man is going to have a gem on his hands because I'm going to be confident in all of that stuff in myself. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So whatever God gives you, whatever he puts in your hands, take it, cultivate it, and make it the very best, and watch him blow it up.
Yes. And that is part of that purpose-driven life. And
yes.
You have to listen to the voice of God. Sometimes we get scared when we hear that little voice saying, you can do this. Why don't you put out a book? Why don't you put out a podcast? Why don't you make that supplement? That's something that, when God speaks to us, he's speaking through us. So yeah, you have to go in within yourself and get yourself ready. But at the end of the day, what God has for you, he has
Come on.
you, and he's not going to let you go. He's not going to let you down, but you do have to take that step forward. You have to have the faith, and it has to be within you for you to go further, so that God can take you where he needs you to go. He wants, as mothers, we are ministers. We are our
Come on,
children.
Dawn.
I'm listening to you, girl. That's what you said. listen, I'm so thankful. You know, you are really ministering out here today.
Amen.
If I had my
Amen.
keyboard, I would be
Do you play?
no,
Oh,
but I would try.
I love it.
I would try. You know, your story, and when you said about not having the means to have like nice food or good food, name brand food. I feel that too, girl. The name brand cereal. I have 4 kids. We can't afford that. You know, I
Baby, y'all gonna eat some Fruity O's.
right.
You don't get Fruit Loops, you get Fruity O's today, and be
Whatever.
happy about it.
Exactly. But I feel you, and even when you were you know, when you were giving your testimony, when you were talking about the food, like I was going back in my head like, man, all those delicious meals that you were prepping, like that means so much more to me, that
Yes.
you had that struggle and now you are in abundance right now, and you are showing that, you know, you are showing us what the other side can be for us if we just
But you know, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I would just say, I wish that, because I'm gonna tell you, and I know people are gonna think I'm crazy. I didn't even start cooking like this until January. So when I was cooking before, you know, it was hamburger helper, but honey, I would still sprinkle extra little cheese on my hamburger helper, girl. Like I always wanted things to look good. And then, you know, I would have the hot dogs for the kids. I would slice it up, you know, and then, you know, you put it on the skillet so it looks like it's been grilled. You know, we try to make things look great, but
hard.
yeah, right. You know, so the kids would think they were getting something special, and you know, so yeah, it does. It definitely means so much to me. But also when I am cooking now, it is also just kind of trying to show like, okay, you can do it very quickly. Because that was another thing for me, is I didn't feel like I could even make good meals like the ones that I do now, because I thought it would take too much time. It takes less time to, you know, make some salmon or some shrimp and something as it does to make hamburger helper. It actually takes less time, you know, to do it. And so it's been fun showing women like, okay, it's actually very easy, because I used to be one of those women who I was like, baby, I am not cooking. You know, I was the one who went to every, you know, family cookout with like the plates. They'd be like, well, who's gonna get some? I'm like, I'll bring plates and I'll bring some soda. You know what I mean? And
I
I'll
know
bring
that's
napkins.
right.
Yeah, like I didn't want to cook. So then this year they were like, yeah, you can't get away with that this year. Like, so
No.
yeah, they're like, you're gonna make the macaroni and cheese. But you know, and you actually can shop on a budget, you know. So that has been a fun thing to kind of do. You know, cooking has been therapeutic for me. And I really do hope that it is, you know, blessing women, you know, all over. That's really what it's all about for me.
Well, it definitely blessed me. And I've really only been following you for maybe what, a month now, and I like, you're one of my favorite. Whenever I see you pop up on my
Oh,
timeline, I'm like, oh, I gotta go see, did I miss anything, you know,
oh,
because you really, and it shows, you know, that your faith and you're steadfast in the word, and that God is speaking through you. And you know, I love it. I love, like I said, I can't say it enough, and this is honest truth. Like, I'm so inspired by you, and I was
oh,
so
amen.
happy when you to be transparent, when you messaged me. I cried when I looked at. I
No.
cried. Listen, I was sitting there, and I'm looking, because I'm like, I didn't notice that you had messaged me, and so I'm like, wait a second, I have 2 messages here, and I'm looking, and I see you, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I don't know this lady. Who is she? So I look at your page, and I'm like, she's reaching out to me a
Yeah,
little.
absolutely. Yeah.
But
You have the goods.
yes.
Absolutely.
But
Yes.
hello. Oh, you have your ring. This is my boss.
Yay.
My boss is
That's your boss.
yes, she is. She's coming down. But I was so excited, and I said, I can't miss this opportunity to have this true example of what a MILF is. And I love that you are not afraid to share your experience. And you know, like you were saying earlier, this is what we need as women, as mothers. We need to show, because social media can make anyone look as put together as possible, but you don't see
Yes.
behind the scenes. Like you don't see all the laundry and stuff, and the toys all over the floor. You don't see what's behind the camera. You don't
Yeah.
see the mom falling apart. You don't see her
Mm.
going and closing the door and crying, or going in the car and praying,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you don't have money in the bank, you can't feed,
Oh.
you gotta, ration portion that food for your kids, make sure they,
Mm.
I feel that,
I'm gonna tell you, at one point I was starving myself. I really was. And my mother, my parents are pastors, and my mom, she talks about it from time to time. She's like, Tamika, I knew that day that if we didn't pray for you, you were going to die. And my oldest daughter at the time, she was younger. She was probably about 6, and she had laid hands on me. And I just was so depleted and weak because like I really wasn't eating, and I wasn't telling people that I wasn't really eating. I would make the hamburger helper because, child, I had every flavor of hamburger helper, but I would make it, and there would only be enough to really to feed my husband that was, I was married to at the time, and the kids. And so I would eat, a bite off of each plate. And I just kind of went on from there, but I really was starving myself. And my daughter had she had laid hands on me, and she said, Mommy, I don't want you to die. And my mother told me that because I don't remember. I was so out of it. I remember I just went to Mom's house, and she'd help me with the kids, and I just laid out and they prayed for me. I don't even remember them, praying for me, but she said, I knew that you were going to die. And so, yeah, us as women, we sacrifice ourselves so much, too much, at times. And so it's so important for us to be able to see, okay, we got to find a different way for you to, we got to find a different way that we can make, something happen. And yeah, I don't have a problem with being transparent. I literally use every inch of space in this 2-bedroom apartment that I have. And I'm so proud of my apartment. I didn't think I'd be able to take care of myself a year ago, and here we are. And, I have my little office space in the area where where I should have like a little breakfast nook. They have like a little cutout space in my kitchen. And, I put push pins in the wall, and I don't have a problem showing people that, where I have wallpaper there, and I got a little desk set up, and I have my stuff set up, and it's like you do what you can, and God gives us the grace to do much with just a little bit. So yeah, that's what it's all about.
Faith as small as a mustard seed.
That's what they say.
That's all you need.
Yeah, he doesn't ask us for really anything.
No.
He's like, if you give me just that little bit, he's like, I'll blow that up for you.
I know that's right, girl. Oh my gosh. I need to have you back on again.
Yay!
I really am truly, truly blessed. And I'm sure everyone listening and watching is getting some fulfillment and blessing.
Amen.
From everything, from your journey. And it is the journey. The journey which draws people in.
Yes.
I mean, it keeps us there. It sustains us because we know we're not alone. When we see you and we see all the amazing things that you do, we don't see the journey behind that. The weight, why it's so important for you to get this out. Why is it so important for your message to be heard? Because you are like us. You are the mother that had to, climb that mountain. So you are proof that God is real, that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, that yes, that God will give you gems.
Yeah.
He will turn those rocks into gems, into diamonds. And what do they say? If diamonds are cold, basically.
Yeah.
Pressure.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I thank you so much, Tamika,
for
sharing your story, sharing your journey, being transparent. We laughed, we cried. I was over here. I was like, my tissues are all the way over there. I can't even reach them.
Yes, God is so good. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your space. I mean, I'm excited about what God is doing for you. I definitely see the podcast growing into just a large community. I see this becoming a conference. I see you being on platforms helping other women. So,
Thank you.
Get
I
ready for that.
accept that. I accept that. I
Yes,
accept
get
all
ready
of
for
it.
that.
And
Yeah.
in any way, and like I said, and you too, this starts from a need. It stems from a need that's within us. And when it's within us and it's God's voice speaking to us, it's for everyone. So I accept it, and I'm ready to walk that walk. I know it's not going to
Amen.
be easy, and you're just teaching us, and I'm so thankful. I really would like to, I know we got a little bit of time left, and I would like for you to just do a quick intro of yourself, just a few of the things that you do, so that we can look out for, so that the viewers can look out for you in the future, or what you're doing right now, where we can find you on social media, your website. And when you're done, I would love for you to give us a quick word of advice for all the mothers out here.
All right. All right. Well, yeah, thank you so much for everybody that has been listening or you're just jumping on. Tamika Hall here. I would love for you to stay connected to me. You can find me simply by going to tamikahall.com. That's the hub of everything. So if you're wanting to learn about iWorship 96 FM radio, you'll find me there. If you want to learn about the She Wins Media, our magazine, our documentary that's coming out next year, you can find that there. With She's Ready, I'm going to give you the website for that because I really want you to find out about She's Ready. Go to shesready.co. C-O, she's with the S. So S-H-E-S, because we're grammatically correct over here. Shesready.co. And you'll be able to read testimonials. We have other interviews and just different things like that are on the site. And I can't wait to be connected with you. I love the fact that now I'm a MILF, mother that you'd like to friend. And I really hope that you feel like we've been bonded and that there's a friendship that's taking place right here over cyberspace. And if I could give any mom any advice, I would probably just reiterate that you were created to do big things. Okay. You were created to do big things. If you're a mom, you've created a whole life inside of you. And so if you're able to do something like that, I'm sure you're listening to this podcast because you have dreams and aspirations, or you're already working toward a business or some type of global ministry. And what I would say to you is, number one, never look at yourself like you are too small. Number two, see yourself as being big. I never do anything without seeing myself being global, right? So look at yourself as being the international bestseller. Look at your product as being somewhere that's going to be sold all over the world, because whatever you think, that's what's going to happen. The Bible says, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think yourself great, then you're going to start walking in your greatness. If you think of yourself as a mogul, you're going to walk as a mogul. If you think of yourself as a boss mom babe, right? Look, because we are all of those things. You're going to walk like that, and you're going to require people to treat you a certain way. And I promise you, just because you have children, you are not behind time. I promise you that just because you have children, it doesn't mean that you're getting started too late in your life and that you're not going to be able to build something that is incredible. Because you're a mother, you're going to be able to build bigger things with less time. You are why people have written books called The 4-Hour Work Week, because they are watching us do it and they see that we can do it. So you are the inspiration for your kids. You are the inspiration for your spouse or whoever your significant other is. You are the inspiration. Your assignment on this earth is to produce what God has put inside of you. And there are people that are attached to you fulfilling your assignment. So I want to tell you to go forth, be great, and remember that you were created to do big things.
You've made it to the end of MYLF Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to follow us on all social media. Special thanks to today's guest, Tamika Hall, for sharing with us her journey through life while being a mother and entrepreneur. Through the ups and downs, Tamika truly taught us how a MILF takes charge of her life and handles business. I truly enjoy bringing you new content from week to week, but this mama needs a break. So I'll see you in the new year with more mothers you'd like to friend.